Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today we will be presenting about motor insurance for subject risk management and insurance JGB 22213. Alright, first let me introduce myself first. My name is AZMAN, ID 572121213110. Okay, for introduction, every company cannot avoid the risk they might be facing. Same goes to Elite Logistics yang berhad. Elite Logistics is a company who run a warehouse and transportation business. Therefore, this company might face some risk when they operate their business, especially when they operating their vehicles for transportation business. So, as the supervisor of the company, it is really suggested for Elite Logistics to get insured with motor insurance. Elite Logistics should get motor insurance because motor insurance have three types of coverage that can cover the potential losses within the company. The coverages are comprehensive cover, third-party fire and theft cover, and third-party cover. It also has extensions coverage. Secondly, it is because the company does not need to spend more cost to cover the losses. Not only that, the company also able to do risk management with motor insurance. Basically, there are 6 steps of risk management that can be implemented in Elite Logistics yang berhad. We will explain it step by step briefly. Next, I'm going to explain the first step, which is identify the potential losses. Since the company is a warehouse and transportation businesses, there are 2 types of potential losses that is related to motor insurance, which are property losses and liability losses. For property loss, it can be identified by historical data and physical inspection. Next, one of the peril that can cause the property loss is accidental fire or theft. For example, where the company's truck has leaky fuel system, then it causes fire to spark. Then the accidental fire happen. Also, the next peril is the what we call that accident. For example, like where the truck is on the road, is delivery the goods, and then suddenly the truck hit the divider. So the truck will be damaged or it will be a total loss. Next is liability losses. It can be identified by physical inspection and external research. The peril that can be the cause of liability losses is third-party liabilities. Either it is bodily injury, death, and damage of third party's property.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is MUHAMAD MOHD and I'm from Bachelor of Industrial Logistics. My ID number is 572122222006. I'm going to tell about step 2, the evaluation potential of losses. The higher the frequency and the higher the severity are the things we need to prioritize over high frequency but low severity. Risk manager must consider maximum possible loss that may occur. That is the higher level of loss that could occur in the worst case scenario. The first one is theft. The frequency of theft is moderate and severity is moderate too. The reason occur due to dissatisfaction with employers, wanting to earn more money and a little salary but having to do a lot of work and not being treated well by employers. The impact towards the company is the quality of the goods will decrease, cause enormous losses to the company, and the secret of the company might be viral if it falls to the wrong person. Number 2 is fire. The frequency is moderate, meanwhile the severity is moderate too. The reason occurs is the employee's own negligence. Oil storage places such as barrels or tanks also have the potential to melt and burn if exposed or even close to the fire and high hot temperatures. When cigarettes butts that are still burning are thrown into areas where flames can start, such as grass, wood, or fabric. Impact towards company is cause the company to lose a lot of assets and have to fork out the high cost of repair. The third one is accident. Frequency is high, moderate is low. The reason occurs is from excessive drug taking, drinking regularly while driving, not spotting checks for equipment to be used and not servicing the vehicle, and negligence by such employees as joking or incentive. The impact to company is company has to pay compensation to the employee whether alive or who has died as a result of an accident, and shall be liable for expenses incurred for accident that occurred and lack of workers. Last but not least is third-party liability. Frequency is low and moderate is high. Reason occurs is from negligence caused by the employee himself to the point of causing an accident, and the employer's insensitivity to the condition of the company-owned vehicle to be used by the employee. The impact to company is incur a very large loss and have to pay compensation to the individual if the cause of the accident is due to an employee of the company, and have to pay the summons issued by the victim's family members or the...
Hi, my name is SHAMIM FIRDAUS. My student ID is 572122222002. I will explain about step 3, select the risk management technique. Process of identifying, aggregating and controlling threat to an organization, capital and earnings. These risks can be identified from a variety of sources including financial uncertainties, legal liabilities, technology issues, strategic management errors, accident and natural disaster. A successful risk management program helps an organization consider the full range of risks it faces. Means that if the company can choose the right technique, so they will reduce their losses. First, risk transfer insurance. Insurance means that the arrangement made by a company or the state undertake to provide a guarantee of compensation for specific loss, damage, illness or death in return for payment of a specific premium. There are several risks that we can list, such as a warehouse is on fire. If the warehouse have insurance, so the insurance will cover all the losses. Same goes to the truck for deliver had an accident. If the truck had an accident, so the insurance will cover all the losses. Next, risk avoidance. We as company try to avoid risk before it happen to them. The company will plan anything to avoid something bad happen to their company operation. There are some examples that company can do to avoid the risk happen, such as the company make sure that all their truck are well serviced every 3 months, so the truck will go everywhere with a good condition. Next, employees that have disease cannot go to office or warehouse to make sure that the other employees cannot be affected and the operation of the company cannot be shut down. Last, the company can tighten the security by pay a guard to make sure there are no theft occurs. And the last technique is the loss control. The company take a step to reducing the total amount of loss. The company will use their own money to make sure that there are no losses that they will receive. For example, first, the company can use the fire resistant material in building construction to make sure that all the building will not easily burn. Second, the company can use fire sprinkler system to reduce amount of fire loss. And lastly, the company can buy a truck with a great quality to make sure the truck will not affect the operation of the company. So I will give you to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SHAMSUL bin Zuhairi. My number ID is 57212121395. Okay, so I will explain to you what is the suitable technique. Okay, so what is the suitable technique? Actually, all of the strategies given are appropriate. A suitable approach can be indicated using a risk management matrix in which the table will identify techniques that are appropriate to apply based on the severity and frequency combined. So, for example, risk avoidance is a technique for high severity risk because it involves insurance and which requires a large sum of money and has a frequent severity because the risk that insurance covers, such as accidents that affect loss for vehicle and health condition, are more likely to occur because supply process in and out provides in and out of company involve delivery. So insurance is an appropriate strategy since it provides a quantity of money to cover damage caused during an emergency and reduce the burden that the organization must bear. As illustrated in the table, a risk matrix table can be used to determine which procedures are appropriate. So that's all for me. For the next.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Zikry bin Zuhairi. My student ID is 5721212119. So today I'm going to talk about implement the risk management method. So following the selection of appropriate technique, it is critical that appropriate technique must be implemented. It is because the right implement is very important, so the company can avoid spending a large sum of money. So I have this down for risk transfer. The company must responsible to make sure that all the vehicle used to run the company have already covered in insurance. It is because everyone make mistake. However, another driver mistake right occasionally become your fault. The company can be considered that vehicle are protected if an insured or under insurance vehicle hit the car if the company have the right type of insurance. Insurance also can cover for the motorcycle that company sold. The company can claim insurance if the motorcycle got stolen by thief. It eventually can save the company money because they don't have to replace the stolen motorcycle. Next is for risk avoidance. The company must ensure that all the vehicle that has been used run the company in great condition. So the company must make sure that all the vehicle need to be serviced every 3 months. So next is for the thief problem. The company also must tighten the security in order to avoid thief occur that eventually will make the company loss. So example, having a tracking sensor at the warehouse, so it will be alert the security guard if someone enter the warehouse. Lastly, for loss control, company need to use fire resistant material in the building. It is because fire resistant material are not easily to burn. So as example, if the building has some short circuit, but eventually it will become a big fire if they can put it down early. So the worker can put down the fire before it's spreading if you use this fire resistant material. So lastly, the company also must have water sprinkler system around the building to reduce the fire before it burn down the entire building before the fire department come. The company also can also train their worker to use fire extinguisher that will be provided around the building, so they can put down the fire in the building, so the fire will not spreading and eventually burn down the building. So that's all from me.
Hello. Now we proceed to step 6, which is monitoring the risk management program. Risk monitoring is the process which tracks and evaluates the levels of risk in an organization. As well as monitoring the risk itself, the discipline tracks and evaluates the effectiveness of risk management strategies. The findings, which are produced by the risk monitoring processes, can be used to help to create new strategies and update older strategies which may have proved to be ineffective. What is the purpose of risk monitoring? The purpose of risk monitoring is to keep track of the risks that can occur and the effectiveness of the response which are implemented by the organization. Monitoring can help to ascertain whether proper policies were followed, whether new risks can now be identified, or whether previous assumptions to do with these risks are still valid. Monitoring is vital because it is not static. Now that we know what is the meaning of risk monitoring and the purpose of risk monitoring, there are 4 types of risk monitoring, which is voluntarily, obligatory, reassessment, and continual. Voluntarily risk monitoring is these risk monitoring strategies are not required by law but are carried out by companies to help them to learn from events which have occurred in the past. Obligatory risk monitoring is monitoring strategies are required by law for some organizations to ensure that proper risk monitoring and management methods are used. Reassessment risk monitoring is a secondary or tertiary assessment of risk and risk management strategies. And lastly, continual risk monitoring. Continual risk monitoring is monitoring which is always ongoing. Now that we know what is the types of risk monitoring, let's talk about the impact of risk monitoring. Risk monitoring is important because it helps to highlight whether strategies are effective or not. Risk monitoring can impact upon the management of organizational risk because it can lead to the identification of new risks. Strategies may also need to be changed and uploaded depending on the findings of risk monitoring strategies. Now we have come to the conclusion of this presentation. In conclusion, in the supervisor's point of view, it is essential for Elite Logistics to take motor insurance. With motor insurance, the company does not need to spend high cost of losses regarding company's vehicle. Instead, motor insurance can cover the losses based on types of coverage. In this context, motor insurance gives benefits to Elite Logistics. And lastly, we as a group hope that our viewers can understand all the information that we have just presented just now. Thank you very much for lending us your ears.